Hello everyone, I hope you're doing wonderfully so far. We are finishing one of the most underrated masterpieces I've ever played. We will be finishing Sifu and the challenge I gave myself for the game. Will I complete the challenge for this game? Let's find out. We start where we left off, the museum. The museum is one of the two levels I was worried about the most. If you haven't seen what the challenge was in the last video, it was beating the game under the age of 25 years old. I can also be 25 years old as well to complete this challenge. This level introduces enemies with bladed weapons. Like Fajar's second phase, they still deal damage when you are blocking. However, I use the many elemental objects to help with this room. You don't have elemental objects often, so I had to make it count. Speaking of elemental objects, there were more in this room. This room has two disciples, and I happened to only land 2 light bulbs on one of them. Fighting 2 disciples that can hit at random times makes this a tricky room. After surprisingly not dying in that room, it was smooth sailing from here. The room with all the armed enemies did add a spice of difficulty, but nothing like a good old bat can't solve. The next room was another moment I was surprised I didn't die. A lot of armed enemies and 2 juggernauts. I tried to take out each gangster before the juggernauts only because you can one-shot a juggernaut with a bladed weapon. I killed the bladed gangster and used its weapon to kill one of the juggernauts. The other juggernaut got taken out the normal way. Another surprise and victory in the museum. Let's move on to the last new enemy, the bodyguard. I will say they do their job very well. Bodyguards can be frustrating to fight as they have a bit of structure like the juggernaut. I think of a bodyguard to be a nerfed juggernaut but with the speed of a gangster. For future reference, don't mess with security. We reach my least favorite part about the museum, starting with this room. I just don't like that you have to stay in the light to see what you are doing. Also, at the end of it, you have 2 flash kicks and a juggernaut to fight. You can try to separate all of them for an easier time. The section after this is quite nice actually. It's like that one section from the SWATs with the camera making it look like a side scroller. The last section has a flash kick to start and 2 more at the end. This level loves flash kicks, I know. At the end of the museum is the 3rd boss, Kuroki. Her first phase is slow as you either need to wait for one move to counterattack or use moves that dodge high and low attacks. Other than that, I think Kuroki has the best arena in this game. I like the atmosphere and snow in this arena. Kuroki's second phase changes entirely because she's more aggressive. Kuroki reminds me of Melania from Elden Ring in the fact that both of their phase 1s are neutral and their phase 2s are aggressive. Anyways, her phase 2 isn't too bad at all. If you have the environmental mastery skill, you can grab her projectile to throw back at her. Sparing her was a bit difficult, but I did succeed sparing her, completing the museum without dying. If you're enjoying the content as much as I'm playing this game, which is a lot, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Your support helps the algorithm to deliver this video to others. The second level I was worried about was the tower. I don't really like this level. There are a lot of bodyguards in this level, which just makes this harder than it needs to be. One thing I can say is that this level looks very nice. What wasn't nice were these enemies not allowing me to pick up this broom. I actually ended up dying here. I only have a few chances left to complete this challenge. Soon I was fighting people on an elevator. This isn't really a safe move on both parts, but I dealt with the juggernaut and the 2 gangsters before reaching the rift part of the tower. How do we go from a normal looking tower to this? Anyways, the encounters here aren't as bad as the one in the tower part. The first part was mostly gangsters and I didn't have too much of an issue. Following stab and a flash kick, the next encounter is probably the hardest. Near the end of it is a flash kick and the bodyguard waiting for you. I dealt with the bodyguard first as they are more aggressive than flash kicks. The flash kick on the other hand wasn't bad on her own and I achieved victory against this encounter. I stabbed the disciple and went to see Jingfang, the CEO. Like Sean, her 2 phases are mostly the same. Phase 1 can be done easily by pairing her long range combo. I went in to attack her when her structure was almost full. Her phase 2 changes her combo, which features a grab on the first hit. You can either avoid the first move and parry the last 2, or avoid the first move, parry the second move, and avoid up on the third. Sparing her was pretty easy and we reached the final level at age 23.
Welcome to the Sanctuary. This is a place for broken bodies and spirits.
I liked the intro from this gangster as I thought it would fit well here. The Sanctuary is a short level, but that doesn't mean it's easy. The Sanctuary was a breeze. There wasn't a lot of bad sections in this level. One stab to a Juggernaut later, I fought another Juggernaut and a Disciple. After this is the first bad encounter. If you thought fighting one bodyguard was bad, then prepare to fight two of them at once. When two enemies like this are put together, it can be annoying to fight. I'm just glad there weren't any flash kicks in this part. I fought the third Juggernaut and two armed gangsters before meeting up a flash kick and a bodyguard. Sometimes I should keep my mouth shut. The flash kick went down pretty quickly thanks to them not having a lost structure. The bodyguard took a little longer than the flash kick, but he also went down. This Disciple was the last enemy to stab and we confront Yang. Where do I begin with this guy? For a final boss, Yang is very tough. When I played this game for the first time, Yang was the only boss to give me a game over. In this case, I mostly parried his attacks. Doing this entered me into phase 2 quickly. Yang does get some new moves, but it's mostly the same. Phase 2 is usually easier than phase 1, and I did it. I beat Sifu under the age of 25. For the fun of it, I went and spared Yang. However, I did die in his second phase, but the challenge was already completed. Yang is the only boss who have 3 phases in this game. Phase 3 is a race of who can structure break first. Yang's structure goes down about as fast as yours does. This phase can be as quick as you want it. I did this phase soon after it started, and I spared all the bosses in Sifu. Even if I died trying to spare Yang, the challenge would have still been completed, so that's a nice bonus. You want to see how I got the background for the thumbnail? Well, here you go. After walking up a mountain, we get the second ending of Sifu. I really enjoyed challenging myself like this for this game. If you want me to do more of these challenges, please put your ideas in the comment section. This is also the fastest we have completed the game. 2 videos. You know I will talk about this game in another video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful and safe rest of your day.